Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That's Eric over there.
Yes, it is.
That's Vanessa.
Hello.
I'm Kelly. Hey, guys. I'm sweating my balls off.
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's a hot ass day.
Yes.
You know what, though? We should be enjoying all this and taking this all in because we're on the countdown for moving to a new space to record in.
Yeah. I got out of the car after parking and heard the seagulls go making their damn noise. Oh, man. I think I'm going to miss that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for sure I am because I go shop every Sunday morning. Full disclosure, we're recording this on a Monday evening instead of the Sunday morning we normally do. But normally I get up really early, get to the store before everybody else does, do my shopping. And part of my shopping is buying stuff to feed the seagulls outside of my window.
Sure.
And I've stopped doing that because I know
no.
I'm not going
You've
to
gotta
be
use
feeding
them up.
seagulls. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh,
So
I wonder if the person who moves in here will feed your seagulls. Maybe leave a note, like inside a drawer where no one's going to look until somebody moves
someday.
in.
take a look around at everything here that was last remodeled about 1970, 11
Mm-hmm.
and realize that none of this is going to remain when they rent this place out again. It will all be new floors, new carpets, none of these weird look at that cupboard behind Eric.
It's
Why is
so
no
nonsensical.
Why
It's
is it
like
floating?
glued. It's glued to the fucking wall.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
cannot, there's no way you can keep heavy stuff in that.
It's very strange.
But it's huge. Like it looks like you're supposed to put enormous objects in it.
Dishes and all your pans or something.
Exactly.
I guess I don't know. Yeah,
Unfeasible.
so they'll probably knock down some walls and turn this into something, but it will not look
Right.
anything like it does now, which is I don't know.
Someone else in the world will start feeding the seagulls. Karma will right itself.
Well, I think that originally when they were talking about remodeling the entire building, this ceiling or this roof that I look out over was going to be kind of a eating space. So there'd be a railing up there
Oh.
and chairs and tables
That'd be
out
perfect
there.
for the seagulls.
Right. And I was like, fuck, those seagulls are going to love those french fries.
Yeah, totally. They will get
Load up.
crazy. Like the Ivers seagulls who'll like freaking bite you for those french fries.
So that is my hope for whoever lives here next is they get
Nice.
terrorized.
We can all have dreams.
Right.
Well, before we dive in with your stories, because I know you
yeah.
got one,
Oh.
I'm going to throw out some thank yous.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got a nice donation from Will Lau. So, Will, if you want to say, hey, you guys talk about a movie or even a subject, feel free, because we also got a little donation from Micah, and he does have some suggestions.
Oh my
Or
God.
a suggestion.
Oh my God.
Let me just break in here right now and say thank you to everyone who is participating
Yes.
in the value for value model.
Oh my God. It blows me away.
It's ridiculous how
It's awesome.
successful this has been.
Yep, it's been great. So Micah writes, hello, kindly requesting a Charles Band episode, which honestly, I love.
Full moon
Oh.
features. Here we
That's right.
come.
Oh my God.
Yeah, part of the reason why is he figured out one of his most hated pop songs was written by Alex Band, Wherever You Will Go by The Calling.
Oh my God, Charles. Wait, Alex
Alex.
Band wrote that?
Apparently, yeah, I didn't.
The Calling was kind of a big band.
Yeah. Probably one of those weird ones like Michael Moorcock writing for Blue Oyster Cult, just random
right.
stuff comes up.
Except that Michael Moorcock is cool.
Exactly. And a really good, lyricist. He didn't write the music. And he did have an interesting name he suggested for the Kurt Russell episode, which I think you're going to go, oh, shit. To go with a glance at Lance, he suggested A Flirt with Kurt.
Oh, that would have
Where
been
were
so
you
good.
when I needed you, Micah?
Oh, jeez. We could just like scratch it out on the pretend, write it in. No one will know. No one will ever know.
As I recall, we all thought we could clearly do a part 2 of Kurt Russell movies.
Oh, it's
So,
An ongoing flirt with
right.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, thank you, Micah. I really look forward to diving into full moon pictures.
Yeah, thanks, Micah. And thanks everyone who's throwing money our way and helping us spread the word, the gospel of Strange Eons.
There you go.
Oh my God.
And I actually really love how many of the listeners interact with us because I got a video from Mitch Keith.
What kind of video?
It was kind
Was
of
it labeled? It was just black tape.
It was kind of a flirting video, but it was narrated as a wildlife movie by Richard Attenborough.
Oh.
And I laughed so hard, and I thought, hey, thanks, Mitch. I really appreciate this. I kind of needed this today.
Wow. Oh, that's really neat.
And so that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's value for value. He reached out, sent me something, probably based on the fact that I make some off-color comments, and said, this guy would probably appreciate this. And guess what? I totally did.
I'm glad it got sent to you.
I have so many things to talk about, and I know we always just kind of talk about one or two. I saw some really cool shit, but one of the things I don't want to forget talking about was, do you guys remember when I told you about the movie Jinn, Djinn?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if either of you have bothered to watch it since.
No.
My attraction to this film was not necessarily how good it was, but how earnest the filmmakers seemed to be. And it was like, boy, this is clearly low budget, but they've really wrung every ounce out of it that they could. And I heard an interview with them, and it just killed me. If you recall, when I was talking about it, it is about a young mute boy in an apartment, and he releases this djinn. And in this interview, they were asking him, asking the writer and the director about why the choice to make the boy mute. And I was fucking bowled over. The reason they decided to do that was because they had the apartment, but they didn't want to bother anybody else in the apartment complex while they were filming. So they decided to make it a silent film, basically.
Oh my God, that's unreal.
God damn it. These guys are brilliant.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And really polite.
Exactly. So
Wow.
I just love that so much.
Oh my God. That's so
Okay.
good.
So stuff that I've watched. Let me just talk about something Vanessa went and saw in the theater, Conjuring 3.
Oh, sure. What'd you think?
I thought it was a shit show, and I was really angry at you for suggesting that I would like it.
Did I suggest you would like it?
Well, you suggested that everyone would like it. You said it was pretty good.
I thought it was
worthy
okay.
installment.
I don't know about.
It was a piece of shit.
Okay, in fairness, I think they're all shit, but I thought this was more watchable than most of them.
Conjuring?
First
Pretty
one's
fucking
good.
solid.
First
Yeah,
one,
Conjuring
it,
two?
okay. First one has good
Mostly
cinematography.
solid.
Second one's
Conjuring
crap,
3.
man. Second one's awful. It's not that bad. It's just very like high drama.
See, this is the thing that you're also talking about. You didn't go to the theater, I'm guessing.
No.
Okay, well there you
so
go.
It's on HBO
You got
Max.
this illusion about it
Yep.
from the theater.
I got the full
Watch it again.
surround. I got the popcorn.
Eric, I feel
I'm
like
not
you
gonna watch
saying
it again.
this
It got
means
its
you watched a little
viewing.
bit of it or something?
No.
Oh,
I thought The Conjuring was good.
yeah.
I thought The Conjuring 2 was a weird action horror movie, and
This one's also weird
And
action horror.
I-
No, it isn't. It's a fucking law drama where they...
It's a romance
I was so
the hell?
sure. I was
between
so
the two
sure
people who were married
when
already.
they were like based on a true story, and it was
Oh,
going to
no.
be the first.
like realistic one.
Well, no, I thought that they were saying that it was going to be the first one where demonic possession was brought up in court and all this stuff. I
Oh.
was like, oh fuck, it's the Amityville. It's the murders before the Lutzes got there. And it wasn't. It's something else that was also, I guess, a possession brought up in court.
one of their
And,
scams.
man, it was just fucking shit. I was so...
I'm so
Here's
sorry.
the thing. It was boring.
Oh.
And as Eric knows, you can be anything in a horror film except
Boring.
thank
That
you.
is the worst.
I was not bored while watching it. Again, I was in the theater. I was pretty blown. There was a couple jump scares. It was really all immersive.
You were eating popcorn.
I was eating popcorn.
and moments
it
of wanting
smelled
to,
good.
beat up phone users. Was it that
Right.
one?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
that was that
yeah,
one.
exactly. I had the full experience. So for me, it was like kind of magical. and
Why
then
don't
you put a
you,
film in
Hey,
it.
what
Why
else
don't
have you seen?
Share us something
Maybe we
else
should
that has been
watch.
magical that I can shit on next week.
Oh well, let's see.
No, not that movie. No, not that.
I haven't seen a ton of things, but I'm going to go with one that you both have definitely seen, just so
Okay.
that I can get it out of the way and you won't have stolen my thunder. Have you guys seen this week's episode of Loki?
Yeah, we haven't talked
Yeah,
about Loki
yeah.
at all.
Have we not? We haven't talked
It's just
about
2
it all?
episodes at this point, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, I've seen both of them.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I love it, but I wonder if anybody else does.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think, like I
Interesting.
think I'd mentioned that it reminds me a lot of Legion, at least in the way it looks
Mhm.
and kind of in the way they're telling the story almost.
Mhm.
So I think if you really loved Legion,
Mhm.
you're probably going to like this, but it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Owen Wilson is there to help
Yeah.
hold the hand of a lot of people who might not otherwise jump in. But it's funny because the first episode, I was like, yeah, they must have blown all their budget on like WandaVision and they're just like going to set this in an office. But it actually has a lot of set pieces,
Yeah.
a lot of different moving parts. Like, I think they actually did spend a lot of money on it. So
Well, that office is
the office goes on
aesthetically
for
awesome.
It's so
So
good.
weirdly 70s.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
that's
It's-
not cheap.
part of the escalators inside is actually based, I'm pretty sure, off of a hotel in Atlanta that I've seen. They just extended it forever. It
Cool.
looks really cool. I don't know, from everyone I've heard so far, people are really digging it and willing to take that risk, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see where episode 3 goes, maybe?
Look, everybody loves Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And we all love Hiddleston,
Yeah,
right?
Tom
So-
Hiddleston has a lot of avid female viewership.
Sure, and male. Come on now.
I didn't want to discount. It's just I know for sure that it has a huge female.
So putting those two
viewership.
guys just talking, which was pretty much episode 2,
Yeah.
Hiddleston looking through files, I
Yeah.
was like, I can't believe I'm interested in Hiddleston looking through
Yeah.
files. But I was.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, they have a really good rapport that I'm kind of shocked about. And I think their conversation is really neat because you have this mind game constantly playing between Loki being like, I'm going to undermine and conquer. And I can't remember the character's name that Owen Wilson plays.
Mobius.
Mobius, constantly being like, oh yeah, so you're doing XYZ and you need to stop that. So
Mobius is
anyway, let's
calling.
move on. Mobius is here right now. But yeah, like Mobius calling him out on his shit, like I think really, I don't know, it's neat. It makes it
Yeah.
really fun and entertaining to kind of watch a verbal cat and mouse game.
Well, like I said, I'm loving it. I have heard grumblings, but I'll say this. The first 2 episodes of WandaVision I didn't love. The
Sure.
first 2 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was kind of
Absolutely.
like, let's see where this goes. And I have not been disappointed by the end of either of those series.
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah.
a feeling that Marvel knows what they're doing.
And there's always the problem with the time traveling thing that's always going to happen. You know, like I used to watch The Flash, but I've pretty much done with it because the last 2 seasons, every time a problem comes up, I'll just go back in time and change something. Like, no. So
Once you open that up as a possibility,
Yeah.
it's like, why wouldn't you just always just fix everything that went wrong?
Yep.
Well, it's kind of, I do like that they straight up address that in this series too, though, where he's like, Loki actually asks, why don't you, I mean, you lost, an agent in the field. Why don't you just go back like 5 minutes before and not have that happen? And it was just a real quick, like, because it would screw everything up and like mess up the timeline and everything would get like disastrous. So we can't do that. And I was like, oh, great. Easy solution. Totally sold. Let's keep moving.
My prediction going forward, so we've seen that Kang is one of the Time Masters or the Time Lords.
Right.
And he should not be, according to
Right.
Marvel Comics. So I think that something has already gone wrong by the time we start this.
Right.
And I love that Mobius is kind of a rule breaker,
Mhm.
which tells me that he's probably going to break free and do something he's not supposed to do. And that will lead us all into the multiverse of madness.
there you go.
The only way this show can properly fail me is if I do not get to see Owen Wilson on a jet ski.
I know,
that
right?
has to
That's
happen.
awesome.
And if it
Yes,
does not,
yeah.
I will be disappointed. So that's where my alliance
One of
is.
the credits,
lay.
extra scenes. I think.
Well,
Watching
it was such a huge foreshadowing moment
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
we're gonna
for
have
sure.
to see
You
that, so.
cannot. You cannot.
They pulled out the office and found a gun in the drawer with that one. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I am not in the Marvel universe on this one by any means. Yes, I'm going back to Arrow streaming yet again. A documentary about Henry Georges Clouzot, who directed Wages of Fear and Les Diaboliques.
Love Wages of Fear.
Yeah, and they both freaking brilliant films. But he had a movie that never really got finished. It's called Inferno. This is a documentary about the making of that. And holy shit, it's really interesting. He did some dailies and he did some tests and he presented this to some studios. It's the first time he's really reaching out to working with Hollywood, I guess. And they came out of the meeting saying unlimited budget.
Wow.
I'm not entirely certain what that meant, but boy, it looked like they meant it because he went on.
Oh, well, what year would this have been? Late 60s or something?
Late 60s.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he went on to put together 3 camera crews. And I don't mean a cameraman and a second, all the way down to grips and gaffers.
Wow.
Of 3 different cameramen. And these are people that, one of them is a cameraman from Wages of Fear. One of them, the cameraman from like Joan of Arc. I mean, these are high-end, top-of-the-line camera operators. He hired all of them to ostensibly sit around most of the time because he'd start working with one and sort of forget to work with anybody else. And he just became, sounds like a raging asshole. And within 3 weeks, he had a heart attack and the entire thing collapsed and was never finished.
Wow.
So they show a lot of the footage that was shot, and boy, it would have been trippy. His idea behind it was to put on film his anxiety that he feels when he's trying to sleep and his jealousy problems and things. And wow, he was being experimental as hell. It was really interesting and really, really well worth watching.
Do you think the film would have actually turned out to be a good film, though, or just fucking weird?
Oh, I think it would have been good. There's a good, solid storyline. He had top-of-the-line performers in it. And, so it was well put together, but it would have been weird.
Arrow streaming.
Yeah, yet again.
For the win.
My other movie this week is not from Arrow streaming.
Oh,
I'm kind of shocked, frankly.
I hope somebody talks about Spiral because I'm not going to, but I saw it.
I did not see it, so I will not be the one.
That's shit. What I am going to talk about is
Next week, maybe?
the latest DC animation,
Oh.
Batman, The Long Halloween Part 1.
Oh,
I saw like a poster for it and I was wondering how it was.
It's fucking great.
Really?
And here's what pisses me off.
Okay.
Now, I would have loved to seen this as a live action film.
Yeah.
I, as you may recall, didn't care for the Snyder Cut
Right.
or Justice League
Sure.
or
Sure.
BVS
Mm-hmm.
or really much of anything because they've been trying to play catch up with Marvel.
Sure.
And Marvel figured shit out early and does it better. DC's animation is always really strong. It's really well written. The animation is always a little shaky. And this is no different. Eric, you probably were a fan of the Long Halloween comics. Vanessa, did you read those? That was the 90s.
I did not. I think I had it on my list of things to tackle, but I've been going through a huge like Joker kick right now, and I'm just not there yet.
I actually read it only 5 years ago or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's worth reading. It's really cool. Written by Jeff Loeb. Art by Tim Sale, which I think is a thing that really polarizes people. Tim Sale did Grendel, and he's got a very specific art look. A lot of negative space, a lot of really thick lines around people and stuff like that. And if you don't like it, you just don't like it. I love it. The animation decided to do somewhere between his art and like the Batman animated series from Tim.
Really?
Or not Tim, but Bruce Timm.
Okay.
And it looks cool. It looks fine. The acting is, fucking off the hook. Jensen Ackles as Batman is spectacular. I'm going to mess up his name because I can never look at it and say it right. Is it Josh Duhamel?
I am
Duhamel?
Sounds
Duhamel.
familiar.
From Justified? Duhamel?
I think that's what it is.
I think it's Duhamel. That's how words work in
Yeah.
this language. So,
I'm sure he'll forgive you.
first of all, that guy is fucking handsome as fuck. And he plays Harvey Dent, and he's got a cool voice.
Yeah.
And so it's, A-list acting. The story is fucking great. The animation looks really cool. And I'll be honest, I could have watched this in a theater and I would have been very happy. It's feature length. It's 90 minutes long. And it's better than anything Zack Snyder has put out lately.
Yeah,
Sure.
And I'm just like, God, we've really undervalued or maybe devalued animation in this country,
Yeah.
and just put all these DC animated stuff right to video. Some of it deserves a little better, and this one really felt like it deserved a little better. Some of the scenes were so gorgeous. I was like, God, I would have loved to have seen this on a gigantic screen.
I mean, the overall, I haven't watched as much of the anime as you probably have, but everyone I've watched has been better than pretty much any live action DC
Yeah.
movie made in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Harley Quinn, the
Yeah.
animated versus the movies that have been made, is
Yeah.
not even comparable.
It's funny because that was what I was going to bring up as what I just finished watching was I just finished watching Harley Quinn. Holy crap. That's like
They're breaking boundaries in an animated series.
unreal. Literally unreal. Not only, I mean, from episode 1, I felt like they were breaking boundaries because it was the first time there was two females having a conversation that felt at all real to me. I was like, yeah, they're like joshing and like fucking around and like swearing. That's completely what it is when girls talk to each other. And then to develop this amazing...
Hold on. It's not underwear and pillow fights all the time.
I got
Movies
news.
have lied.
I got news for you. It is not fun to look at other girls naked, and I've seen a lot from swim teams. So no, don't
beg
want to go
differ.
there. It's awful. It's awful.
I'll raise you that it's worse to see naked guys wandering around.
I don't know.
Especially the
And pillow
80-year-old fuckers that
There's
wander around in
some-
clubs that like, dude.
There are some weird looking tits out there, dude. I cannot begin to tell you. Anyway,
That's the bumper right there at the end of the show.
no. Anyway,
Thank you.
it was not sexy.
When is this?
So, but
35 minutes in. Out of this.
But Harley Quinn, I was like in tears. Like, I know they're apparently doing a third season, but I don't even care. It ended so beautifully, so perfectly. I love Kite Man. I love the obvious relationship. Bane, I cannot stop doing bad impressions of consistently. Clayman, like Shark.
Yeah, the shark.
Oh
guy.
my God. Oh, it's so good. There wasn't a moment that I wasn't like, I'm sorry, this is like my favorite thing. This is better than ice cream right now. This is just so good.
I love that.
Forget everything.
Bane's reaction to everything. I'll blow you up.
Totally. And like a consistent chair joke where they're always giving him a crappy chair and he's like enormous and threatening, but no one thinks so is just, it's beautiful writing. So this whole idea that animation is not given its cred, I think you're totally right. And that's why Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was such a big deal, right? Like
Really
that
good.
wasn't even supposed to be a theater film. They just realized when they finished it, it was so fucking good. They redid a bunch of it and were like, oh, let's just release it for real.
Let me ask you this. So now playing off what I said about thinking that animation has been devalued, do you think that's why they have been able to get away with kind of breaking boundaries? Is it because
100%.
nobody's paying too much attention to it?
100,000 million %. Absolutely. They're allowed to have the freedoms that you see completely stripped out of movies like Batman v Superman or rewritten in Justice League. Like, why would the producers don't give an F about animation? They're like, I don't know, write what you want. We don't care. And no one's going to watch it anyway. So
Or everyone's going to watch it and they also don't care.
they still don't care
Right.
because it's just not something that people are paying attention to.
Hey, Mom, can we watch the new Harley Quinn show?
Oh my God.
Probably hasn't happened a lot because, 5 minutes in and Mom's like, what?
I don't know. Mom probably walks out the door and goes, yeah, kid, go for it. I'm going to go from my, I'm going to walk the dog. See you later.
You know what? I hope so. I
Me
hope those kids are
too.
being raised on
Yes.
Harley Quinn.
I hope so too. That would be freaking amazing.
Yeah. that is a little, you think about it. Yeah, there's all kinds of nice lessons in that story, actually.
Yes.
Murder.
So much change.
Mayhem.
And they commit to like all the weird story shit they throw out there. Like the beginning of season 2, I was like, all right, I'm ready for us to start over. Oh no, Gotham is still fucked.
Yes.
Cool. Interesting. Batman's still held up somewhere recovering physically. Great. Don't have to see his ass for a while.
Let me just throw back out there then. Commissioner Gordon in The Long Halloween, Billy Burke, a guy you probably don't know, but you would know his face. He's that guy in a bunch of movies.
Mhm.
But I know him best as a local boy done good, raised in Bellingham, Washington, which is where I was raised,
Aw.
and made it into a ton of movies and shit since then. So way to go, Billy. Thank you, man.
Aw.
Yeah.
I don't think
Doing
I
good
knew
work.
you were raised in Bellingham, did I?
Everybody, shut up. Cut that out, Eric. I don't want anyone to know anything about my personal life.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy who was raised in southern Idaho is going to Bo Bellingham. Anyways, well, I have gone back to the Andy Milligan well again
Oh no.
in his
I'm sorry.
fabulous, which so far might be his best movie,
Okay.
Torture Dungeon.
Jesus.
Medieval England. 3 minutes in, I'm like, hey, they're fighting next to a chain link fence.
Oh my God.
So at the beginning, I'm going, so is this actually supposed to be medieval England, or is he doing like reproduction
this
stuff?
sounds so unwatchable. All of these sound
Gloriously
so
unwatchable.
Very watchable.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So it's basically the same storyline as the Ghastly ones, which is a plot to kill off a whole bunch of people so certain people can become the heirs and whatever of the throne. And Andy does most of the stuff in his films, including in this one, he did the costuming. The costuming is literally cut up from couches and curtains and then sewn to like be costumey looking because it's kind of
Sure.
puffy like a medieval costume might supposedly look like. And then there are times you can see that he probably, I don't know, maybe taped or glued on some felt for decoration. I mean, it's so gloriously awful. And the part of what makes it work is the bad acting is so committed. You know, there's not, sometimes you see those bad actors and you kind of feel like them hesitating. Nope. These people
They're just like
go for
gonna
it.
wade into this bad acting.
Exactly, yes.
No one else is trying.
That's
I
right.
don't need to either.
And there's the one guy in the movie who he doesn't, it's not, the term we'd use now is probably trisexual, you know, try anything. He has a different term for it, but it's along that same thing. And his main lover is a humpback guy who got beat up when he was a kid. So his back humpbacked up and he wants to get his current girlfriend to sleep with him because he's weird and he wants to like mess with both of them. It's just amazing. With some truly wonderful kills of pitchforks into the sides of barns and the effects at times. Wow. Like they go into the torture dungeon and there's people hanging and they walk up to this one guy who you very obviously see his entire body, except he's got like a piece of black felt or something that's really not much larger than what like Tarzan might wear. It just hangs a little bit lower, closer to the knees, but not full wide. So you see all of his legs. And the lady introduces, and here's the man whose legs we cut off, so he'll slowly bleed to death. I mean,
Oh my God.
it's just a friggin' wonderful experience. What I get why when this popped up for Severin to sell, a lot of the comments were, boy, if you really get into Andy Mulligan, there's probably something a little wrong with you. And yeah, I'm not going to argue those cases. And you know who, of course, also loves Andy Mulligan?
It's got to be Tony Carey.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, he was talking about that the other night. But man, I'm all in on finding out I think there's 10 movies in this set, something like that. I'm watching all of them.
How many have you seen so far? Is this 4?
4, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I will never ever watch these, but
Yeah,
they make you so happy that it makes me happy for you. And that's where the joy of these films comes for me. I'm just keep this ride going, Eric.
That's right. They'll have some more. They're putting out the Blood of Dracula in their next, the Andy Warhol's Dracula, is coming out
Oh
in
God.
the next Severin release this their half yearly sale.
Fantastic. Well, I'm waiting. I've got some movies in my cart, so
I have
Bring
three
it on.
things. I have three things to say about this.
Okay, yes.
I've never heard of trisexual try anything as a thing, and so I love that. I also love that you used humpbacked up as a verb,
Yeah, that was.
and we got the pleasure of hanging out with Tony K just last weekend.
shut
Yeah.
the front door.
Yep, yep. And
What?
it was a blast. So
Oh,
love
that's
that
so
guy
nice,
so
guys.
fucking much.
Yes.
Ugh.
Fantastic person. man.
Socializing begins.
It's weird.
Starting with Tony.
It was
Hey,
pretty cool.
speaking of, before we jump into our break,
Yeah.
Eric, can you tell us anything about what's going on with Crypticon Seattle?
Well, it's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
It's going to be the last weekend in August. 27th, something like that. Don't know much about it yet. Most of the guests have been rerouted. Like Joe Bob's going to be there
Oh
just
my God.
Saturday and
Oh
Sunday.
my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'll be
Oh
there
my
for a
God.
few days.
Oh my God. That's so exciting. If he's not there, I'm going to cry a lot.
It's supposed to be there Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
And a few other people that are being worked to get. I don't know what's going on with panels because I don't do anything with them anymore. Other than we will be doing one.
Yeah, I have heard that we're doing a live
Yes.
Strange Aeons Radio podcast episode at Crypticon Seattle.
Oh my
That's right.
God. It's going to be so much fun. I've been waiting to do this with you guys. We weren't able to do it last year because of COVID.
Mhm.
So it's going to be so much fun to put that together.
We will record it. You know, we don't expect you if you're listening in Hong Kong. I know we have at least one listener in Hong Kong. It'd be great if you want to come out, but, wouldn't expect that.
At the Sheraton, the Hilton near the SeaTac Airport. Come on down.
Yeah. The film festival, normally that's a 6-7 month project for me, and I've got maybe that many weeks. So I'm going to be showing some Crypticon stuff, but I also came across an idea that I think would be a lot of fun. So Bone Bat will be there, but this year we're also going to have giving his best of from last year. We're going to have H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival is going to be doing an hour of best of.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Portland Horror Film Festival is going to be doing a best of.
Jeez.
Wow.
Grave Plot, who's a fairly new film festival here in the area, they're going to be doing 1 hour best of. Oh, shit. Who else do I have? Bleeding Ham. Bleeding Ham will be
nice.
coming down. Sorry, Gary.
We should mention for everybody who has no idea what Bone Bat is that's also
yes.
a film festival. 'Cause
From Steve Hullitz.
I've never heard of it. So
It's only been going on for 10 years. So he'll be doing that. Joe Sherlock will be presenting a film and of the Horrors of the Pacific Northwest coming back. And then I'll have a few hours. There's a feature that was shot here in the Northwest we're going to be showing that I have to verify some stuff. You know how that shit works, but should be able to show that. So
I'm
there's
looking
still
forward
going
to
to be a lot.
at the very least, it's going to be a blast for us.
Yeah.
If nobody else shows up, then we'll just sit there and drink and record an episode. But we're hoping
That's
that
going to happen regardless.
people will show up and actually be a part of the episode. So
Yeah. So if you're in the area, come on down.
last weekend in August.
Yes.
Doubletree. Doubletree.
Yes, the Doubletree and
You've mentioned every single
Hotel in
out
the
there.
area. I just remembered it has 2 trees on the outside. I was like, it's the Doubletree.
Yes.
I got there.
Now I
Doubletree
get
and
it.
SeaTac.
It's 2 trees.
Shut up. I know how to get there. I don't have to know what it's called.
Tickets available at CrypticonSeattle.com.
Figure out your parking ahead. That's the worst part.
Yeah,
Yes.
parking is bad. All right, guys, let's take a break, and then we will come back with my genre pick, which was horror on the water.
Finally, the battle for Super Soaker supremacy has begun. Which one of the new Super Soaker Elite blasters will rise to the top? Will the Arctic Shock Blaster with its freezable ice core send shivers down their spine? Or will the Flash Flood Blaster's surprise ability to unleash an entire tank of water in one burst be too much for its opponents to handle? Maybe the multi-stream attack of the Triple Shot and Helix blasters will send the opposition running. Or will the Aquapac Devastator, with its massive water supply and constant pressure technology, reign supreme when others run dry? No matter who wins, one thing is certain. You won't get wet. You'll get soaked. Super Soaker. The battle rages on at supersoaker.com. Ask parents' permission before going online. Each sold separately. Slow motion used. Major pumping required.
We have returned, and full disclosure to you and the listeners, I have been drinking tonight. And because we started an evening show, that means I've been drinking. Normally we record in the morning, and I'm not usually drinking
Just
by then.
Drunk from the night before.
Yep.
All right. Nobody likes a tattletale. But so I'm feeling a little good. I'm feeling really good about my my choice, and I'm popping another one here.
Oh my God.
I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind.
Well, anybody who knows you at all knows what that actually line means.
I don't know what that means.
All right. This was my choice, you guys,
Jesus.
and I chose very well. The subgenre is horror on the water, a fire in the sky.
That's right.
And I chose from 1977, Orca.
The ancient Romans called him Orca Orcinus, Latin for bringer of death. He is without challenge the most powerful animal on the globe, the killer whale. Orca has 48 teeth, set in 2 impressive rows. In some respects, the orca's intelligence may be even superior to man's. They remain loyal to one mate for life. As parents, they are exemplary, better than many human beings, and like human beings, they have a profound instinct for vengeance. An innocent creature is destroyed by an act of human cruelty, and the ultimate battle of man against nature begins. Dino De Laurentiis presents Orca.
Can you commit a sin against an animal?
He followed you. He saw you on the deck of the boat.
They always remember the human being who had tried to harm them.
He deliberately left you your boat because he wants to fight you on the sea.
I won't do that.
Now the fish have vanished from the fishing grounds. And it's all because of your whale.
In fact, I won't fight him at all.
You're not even man enough to accept the excitement of his challenge.
I'll fight you! You're a vengeful son of a...
Orca, starring Richard Harris, Charlotte Rampling, Will Sampson, Keenan Wynn. A spectacular adventure. From the depths of the sea to the top of the world.
It's going to be a fair fight on equal terms.
A fight to the death.
Nolan!
Between the 2 most dangerous animals on Earth.
What in hell are you?
Man and Orca.
I'm so excited.
Nice.
Budget of $7 million.
Wow. That's it.
About. Box office of about $15 million.
Beautiful.
Rotten Tomatoes critics have it at 9%.
That's
about right.
No.
But the audience disagrees and raised that all the way to 33%.
Hey,
Yeah.
more than 3 times.
Absolutely. Way to go, Orca.
Directed by Michael Anderson, who directed Doc Savage, Man of Bronze,
Whoa.
Logan's Run, and Millennium, the movie, not the
Okay.
awesome TV series. Written by Luciano Vincenzoni. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Well,
Oh.
no, hey, listen to this.
Not
Wrote for a
surprised.
few dollars more. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, shit.
And Raw Deal, starring Patrick Schwarzenegger's dad, Arnold. This movie stars Richard Harris, who is a goddamn national treasure. Guns of Navarone, Unforgiven, Gladiator, and of course played Dumbledore in the first couple of Harry Potter films before he passed away. and Charlotte Rampling, who was kind of a sex symbol of the 70s. She was in Zardoz, The Night Porter, Angel Heart, 10 episodes of Dexter, and 129 other credits. Some of them still in pre-production right
my
now.
God.
She
Oh, wow.
is continuing to work.
What a beast.
Yeah. It also stars Will Sampson, who you would know from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Outlaw Josie Wales, The White Buffalo, and Poltergeist 2. He is a very recognizable Indian actor.
Oh, yes.
And of course, Bo Derek
Yeah, of
from the
course.
movies 10, Bolero, and Tarzan the Ape Man.
Do you not know who Bo Derek is?
I do not.
Oh, my. Well, not a guy growing up in the
Married-
late 70s or
Yes,
80s.
it
Married
does
to
affect my
John
choices.
Derek, who then divorced her and married a string of younger women as he went along who looked just like her. So
Oh,
he
no.
clearly has a type.
He's
Linda
a scum.
Evans and just star
Really?
after star who were all blonde, blue-eyed babes. Anyway, not
he's-
take away
he's-
anything
he's
from
not
Bo
a,
Derek.
He's not a great guy, though.
No.
Fuck, he's
Piece of shit. Okay. Eric, I know you've seen this.
many, many, many years ago, but hell yeah, I've seen this.
Vanessa, you've not seen The Glory That Is Orca?
I have not. I have not.
Okay, so the movie starts with the credits rolling, and we get these crazy whale sounds. However, not killer whales.
Yeah.
For some reason, they are humpback whales because in 1977, 77, we were stupid and we didn't know the difference, so they
Oh,
just
no.
threw whale sounds
Oh,
over
no.
No Wikipedia, no.
it. Right.
No one would know the difference.
Right. We all knew Save the Whales, and we had heard the whale sounds, and so that's what they put on top of that. So Richard Harris plays Captain Nolan, who is a guy who catches marine animals to pay off the mortgage on his boat.
Wait,
And
what is he catches them and does what with them?
to give them to like aquariums and stuff like that.
Sure.
So currently he is looking for a great white shark, and I would guess that's because they have become very popular from the movie Jaws in '75. And he's looking for this great white shark. And there is a young scientist diver who's down in the water, and we see this great white shark. But the shark has seen the scientist too. The scientist's name is Ken. And we're like, fuck. I mean, right off the bat, this shark is like targeting this guy. And he's like hiding in the coral and everything. And the shark's like, now fuck you, man. You're mine. And then all of a sudden, the shark is attacked.
Oh, no.
He's like thrown out of the water in a big bloody spray. And Charlotte Rampling is right there next to Richard Harris. And she's like, there's only one creature powerful enough to do that.
Oh, my God.
A killer whale.
Yes. Jesus.
This all happens in like 4 minutes of the film.
Oh, my God.
And this switches Nolan's target from a great white shark. He's like, shit, if an aquarium would pay this much for a great white shark, they would clearly pay this much more for an orca. Little side note, Quint's boat in Jaws is called the Orca, and it's because the orca is the predator of the great white.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they have such like rounded, I mean, they have teeth, but they're not like, all right.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Well, maybe you should watch this movie and see
I
how
guess
terrifying they
I
are.
should. All right. The
So he
gentle
decides
orca.
he's going to hunt down and capture one of these orcas.
Okay.
And he harpoons one of them, and he's trying to harpoon this male, but he accidentally harpoons a female, and it starts screaming, and he drags it up onto the boat, and the male, the mate of this killer whale, is out there in the water, just swimming around angry and all this shit. And he pulls the shark up onto the boat. I'm sorry, he pulls a whale up onto the boat, and the whale miscarries on the boat.
Fuck.
I remember that.
Jesus.
Right. So it's a Vanessa, you know how you use the word harrowing incorrectly all the time?
No.
I'm going to use it correctly. It is a harrowing scene. You want to cover your eyes while this scene is happening. You're just like, I cannot handle this. The whale is screaming. The killer whale out in the water is screaming. All the crew members are screaming.
Oh my God.
And there has been this whale fetus dropped onto the boat deck. Everyone's screaming. And so they hose the fetus off the deck, and they try to drop the other whale or the female whale back into the water. But while they're doing that, the male killer whale has come up and grabbed one of the guys and dragged him off. It's just turned
rightly
into
so.
a real shit show.
Jesus.
So yeah, like 15 minutes into this movie, you're like, this is a little rough.
That's a lot to take in.
It really is.
I mean, especially nowadays, if you're watching it, because they're so few and far between.
This was a different time, Vanessa.
I mean, I can only assume this
Back
movie is
when
the reason
killer whales
why.
ruled the earth.
And everyone suddenly went, we should fucking kill these fuckers.
Right. So the next day, Nolan is on the beach with Charlotte Rampling's character, whose name is, I believe, Rachel. And they're walking along the beach, and there is the body of the female killer whale, beached. And he's like, I can't believe she made it all the way to the shore here. And she tells him she didn't make it. She was dead when she was pushed up here by her mate. This
Jesus
is a
Christ.
sign. He's fucking out for vengeance.
Oh my God.
So the villagers are all like, hey, man, the fuck did you do? This killer whale is swimming all around in our waters. We're fishermen, and it's scaring all the fish off, and we demand that you kill this male killer whale. And he's like, I don't want to have anything to do with this. I fucked up. And they're like, no, this is your fucking responsibility. Just to put a pin on that, this male killer whale, then I'm just going to call him Orca.
Okay.
That works.
Orca comes along. He starts sinking the boats, like ramming them and sinking them in broad daylight as they're moored up here. And then, as if he is very incredibly intelligent, he breaks the pipelines that are supplying gas to this village.
Oh, well, that's clever.
Yeah, he's
a
like
smart ass
got
whale.
it all together. This
Jesus.
whale is pissed and super smart.
Huh.
It's like an
He's
octopus.
savvy to the ways of men.
I wonder what his child would have been like had it survived.
Oh, God,
Would it have gotten his smarts?
had to bring that up. Much like this whale in this movie, I've got a tear in my eye. Rachel tells Nolan that, hey, this is what's going on. This whale's got it out for you, and whale's mate for life, and you killed his mate and all this stuff. And he confesses to her that he completely empathizes with the male, with the orca, or with Orca. I'm just going to call him Mr. Orca from now on.
Okay.
And and he's
good
like,
wine.
and here's why. Because his wife and kid were killed by a drunk driver on a snowy night.
Oh,
And
God.
if he had the chance, he would have hunted that guy down and killed him as well. So he's like, I totally get it, and I'm not going to fight this whale.
Please say they team up. Please say they team up.
They team up then to hunt down his wife's killer.
Yes. buddy whale movie. I have been waiting for you. It is happening.
So he says he's not going to fight the whale, but the orca attacks his house.
Does he
Mr.
live
Orca.
on the water? Does he live in a boat?
Well, he lives kind of on the water.
I'm fascinated.
Yeah. The whale makes sure that by the end of his attack, the house is in the water. That's for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And Bo Derek slides down kind of into the water, and Mr. Orca's like, hey, that leg looks delicious, and I'm going to eat it. And he takes Bo Derek's leg.
That makes sense.
That makes her
Baby
9.5
versus-
in my book.
Baby versus leg.
So after he bites the leg off, then Nolan's like, fuck it. I'm taking this whale on. And he basically brings his boat out in a very small crew, including Charlotte Rampling and Will Sampson. And they go off into the Arctic, where they are going to have I was going to say mano a mano, but that doesn't quite. Mano a flipper. Battle to the death. Who will survive? Who will survive? You tell me, Vanessa.
It's not looking good for Bo Derek. But otherwise,
Vanessa, no, Bo's, she's out of the picture now. She got a leg ripped off, and she's like, I've had enough of this shit.
Sure. Any self-respecting woman would walk at that point in a relationship.
Or limp.
Oh, I didn't know I did it.
So, a little bit of trivia. First of all, this movie does not deserve this 9%. I would give this a solid 11 or 12.
Ooh.
everybody is acting really hard in this movie. So,
well, there was, I don't know if it's still available. Shout Factory did do a Blu-ray of this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Richard Harris is just like acting so hard. Oh, God. Trivia. The killer whale was portrayed by an animatronic whale filmed off the coast of Malta and Newfoundland.
Bruce.
And stock footage taken at Marine World in Redwood City, California. So you can tell the difference between the animatronic and the stock footage because whales in captivity, their fins droop.
Yep.
And they don't in the wild. So you can always tell when you're getting a scene of the stock footage.
Wow.
Here's the best part, though. The stock footage killer whales were named Yaka, who was a female, and Nepo, a male. They had both been captured in 1969. Nepo died in 1980, while Yaka died in 1997. On IMDb, they are listed as actors in the film. If you look up the film Orca, you're looking at Richard Harris, Charlotte Rampling, Will Sampson, Nepo, and Yaka. And if you click on it, it says Yaka is an actress, and it just has pictures of her from this movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Nepo is an actor with pictures of her from this, or of him from this movie. And
Oh my God.
I've never seen anything like that before, and I love it.
I want to know who put up that IMDb post.
I know,
That is
Somebody was
amazing.
committed. Like somebody who worked with them was
Right.
like, they deserve this.
Sorry. Yes.
So this was produced by Dino De Laurentiis.
But of course.
In the mid-1970s, executive producer Dino De Laurentiis considered a sequel to King Kong, which was 1976, that may have had him go head-to-head with Orca, his own other animal monster movie.
Oh my God. No. What?
Unfortunately for us, that never
No
happened.
Oh
kidding.
my God.
King Kong with his bath toys. I'd watch that, man.
Jesus Christ.
Richard Harris, Sir Richard Harris, turned down the opportunity to work with Ingmar Bergman on The Serpent's Egg in order to make this film.
Oh my God.
This is a move he regretted deeply for the rest of his life.
I bet.
No kidding.
I will just say this, as ridiculous as this movie is, the notion of an orca mourning its dead mate might seem far-fetched to some. In the summer of 2018, a female orca traveling with her pod off the coast of British Columbia was seen pushing her calf that had died about 30 minutes after it was born. She's been doing this for a week straight, even falling behind the pod. Marine biologists have come to the conclusion that she is indeed grieving.
Mm-hmm.
Note, this seems to be true only of female orcas. Male orcas, like their dolphin relatives, are promiscuous at best and sexually coercive at worst.
Aw.
They don't play any part in raising the babies that they father and certainly don't grieve for them. However, they do play a role in helping raise their younger siblings as well as their nieces and nephews as male orcas stay in their mother's pod.
Interesting. That was actually exactly what I was thinking of when you mentioned pushing the female up on the water. I remember watching that footage of that morning female orca, and it went on for so long that they were worried she was going to die from starving to death.
Yep, I remember that too. That was a big deal here.
Yeah. But good news. She got pregnant again.
Oh, good.
So
Okay.
All right.
I just want to give you a positive update.
Well, what's going on with that? Has she been pregnant for the last 2 years or something?
No, it was pretty recent. I
So
don't know.
you don't really care. You just said she got pregnant. You've
I
not
know as
followed
much as
on with this.
the local news will tell me, okay?
All right. It has been, I would say, I don't want to say a lie, but it has been reported that the male orca sheds a tear when his whale wife is dying on the ship. I watched this so many fucking times looking for that tear, and it is nowhere to be seen. However, at the very end of the film, the whale does surface, and it does appear to have a tear in its eye at the very end. So I would say that is probably
when it's
where this
mourning
comes
its own end, perhaps.
I'm
That
not
sounds
going to
very
tell you how
selfish.
this ends, but it doesn't end well for either of these.
Oh, snap. Da-da-da-da.
I love this movie. It's over the top, but it is so good. It's available on Prime. Love it.
This movie sounds great. I am suddenly quite grateful that Free Willy came about and made people actually like orcas and care about them. I've never thought that previously, but right now, if they only had that film to go off of for whales, that would be, we might be in a different situation. They might just be extinct, straight up.
Fun fact, killer whales are not whales. In fact, years and years and years ago, when they were first named, they were whale killers. And that got switched somehow. They are dolphins, basically.
Oh, interesting.
And,
I had not heard that.
And they had become somehow killer whales. But yeah, pretty fascinating creatures. Big, huge brains.
Yeah.
Cool. I love fun. I know. I loved whales as a kid. I like freaky loved them. So anyway,
I love fun.
This movie sounds amazing, and I am definitely going to go after the show and buy the Shout Factory edition if it's still available. I think it is. I don't think this is one of the ones that I saw like in the endangered Shout Factory list.
While everybody lies dying at the end of the film, there's this really cheesy 1977 love song playing over the end credits, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, everything about this movie was poorly planned.
Oh no. Even better. Makes me want it even more. So for my water horror film, I had one kicking around for a while that I was thinking about checking out, and I only really knew as much as the poster told me. So I thought I would jump into 2012's The Bay.
911, what are you reporting? Sorry, did you say something bad?
Yes, really bad. She's bleeding.
Where is she bleeding from?
Good morning, Maryland. I am in Claridge, the host of our annual July 4th party.
Oh my God.
This is the CDC. We're in the middle of some kind of viral outbreak. It's eating their organs, intestines, liver, it goes for kidneys.
There's something wrong with the water.
This stuff has chemical steroid in it.
Hey, we got a situation over the 911 call center, and the system's about to go down. We're just overloaded with calls.
Stephanie, you're not answering your phone. I do not want you to get off that boat.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I know they shut down all the roads going into Claridge. Now I'm flying over the water here, and, well, there's just dead fish everywhere.
That's so big, I don't think he fits in this boat. You ever seen anything like that? I've never seen nothing like that. What the heck is that?
Son of a...
You don't just shut down the Eastern Seaboard without approval from a higher authority.
As you can see here, we have these parasites.
Oh my God.
Isopods eating right through the fish's tongue.
There's something really wrong. Help me.
It's eating them from the inside.
Dispatch. There's bodies everywhere.
Do you hear that?
What are you doing? Look at him. Don't look at me.
We could easily be looking at a new form evolve.
Go away.
I'm going to show the world what happened here. If you find this tape, just please get it out.
We're gonna be okay.
I don't know if either of you have checked out The Bay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, this film has a Rotten Tomato score of 76% from critics and 43% from audience.
Sure.
Which is kind of weird to me. I would have thought it would be flipped from the movie that I watched, but that's okay. Director and writer of this film is Barry Levinson.
Never heard of him.
Who has done 45 projects, including The Natural, Good Morning Vietnam, Rain Man, Toys, Sphere, and many more.
Oh, Barry Levinson.
This guy has such a freaking varied resume. Like, he must just be like, you know what? I want to try something new. Mm-hmm. This time I'm going to do The Bay. Like, what? Okay, that's fine. No problem. Toys. Right now I want to do Toys. freaking sexualized toy film with Robin. All right, sure, go for it, Barry. He is also a pretty prolific writer. He did 34 projects, a lot of the same stuff, but also has his name on Diner, Tootsie, and a lot of the Carol Burnett Show. So he's been around for a little bit. The other writer on this film has only done 3 things, which included this and 2 episodes of The Jury Room. So something tells me he didn't have as much to do with it, but maybe he was the ideas man. The producer on this, which was a surprise to me until the end of the film when it popped up and all came together, it was a Blumhouse division that was known as Haunted Movies. So this was a super, super early Blumhouse film.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty crazy. So this was one of those ones that set it off. It was after Paranormal Activity, but before most of their other projects. It was when they started to get small bunches together that they were releasing. Nice. Starring a lot of people that no one know. But the ones that people may have heard of, the lead is a lady named Keither Donahue as Donna Thomas. She plays a very irritating reporter who leads us through this story. She's been in 60 projects, including some live action things, including You're the Worst, which is a TV series she did 62 episodes of. She was in Pitch Perfect, where she played a character named Alice, and a lot of voice acting, mostly Japanese cartoons. So things like Kurokami, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dinosaur King, which is one of my favorites. So good. King of Braves, Gao Gi Gar, and some American projects like Bird Girl, Elena of Avalar, and best of all, in Star Trek Lower Decks, she was the voice of Ensign Peanut Hamper, which you guys may or may not remember. So she's our lead. We also have in here Stephen Kunkin as Dr. Abrams. He's been in 44 things, including Born Identity, Hillbilly Elegy, Bridge of Spies, and in TV, you would probably know him mostly from Handmaid's Tale as Warren Putnam. He's also in Billions and a little bit in The Affair. And definitely not least of all, Frank Deal plays Mayor Stockham. We would probably remember him, at least for me, most recently, as being in Outsider as a character named Fred. So that was pretty great. And finally, probably the name that was most recognizable from this was definitely a bit role. She was basically the mom on a boat, Kristen Connolly. She's been in 33 things, including Cabin in the Woods, 4 episodes of Evil, 39 episodes of Zoo, Whispers, House of Cards, just does these long stints in quite a few things. But she started off small doing things like Woman Reading on Bench in The Happening, Art History Student in Mona Lisa Smile, and Makeout Girl in Meet Dave. So we all got to start somewhere.
That's right.
If you're lucky enough, you might just land a role of mom on boat. So keep at it, kids.
I can get my credit changed from Makeout Girl. No.
She did get the name Stephanie, so she got a name in this, which was pretty nice, considering there's so many characters. So the plot of this film, we start off by seeing a reporter talking anonymously via online video, kind of a Skype call, to an interviewer about a story that has been buried by the U.S. government. This is something that's haunted her for many years, and she wants the truth to come out. She was a rookie reporter who was on the scene for a small town 4th of July celebration out in Chesapeake Bay for a place called Claridge. As she starts to tell the tale, we don't just stay in her perspective. It's kind of a mockumentary style. We're bouncing between multiple stories, revealing the plot to us. It's told through things like video phone recording, Skype calls, cop car cameras, and the actual reporter footage that was recording on the day and in that night. And it's also revealing how these events came to be through the footage that's taken from some oceanographers that had a video diary, and they were kind of patient zero for this event. So it's really clever in the way that it's balancing this strange story. We start off by seeing the small town celebration. Really neat. I really like this. They have it felt very authentic. The town has this sort of crab theme. So you have these people doing a crab eating contest. You have a bunch of kids doing a crab walk race. You have Miss Crustacean showing up in her crown and sash, walking around, kind of giving her appearance for the event. And we start off and see that there's something a little bit wrong. Some lady starts walking down the street and is screaming that something is up. She's covered in blood. We're not really sure what's going on. And then we start cutting around to different previous footage. And through the oceanographer's video diaries and through some undercover eco-activist footage, we learn that off of this town, there were some chickens. This town is known for chickens, I guess, as well as crabs. They've been feeding them steroids. The chickens have been pooping, and then the chicken excrement has been going into the bay. The water treatment plant that is supposed to be cleaning the bay has been super underperforming with like a D- rating, and a parasitic entity has been getting this sort of chemical cocktail, allowing it to mutate into this freaky horror show invasive species thing. It becomes a tongue-eating louse known as Cymatog exque that eats its host from the inside out. On top of that, 40% of the bay has become lifeless due to the slew of toxins found in the water. They try to warn the mayor, who basically ignores their calls and decides that he does not want tourism to go down, and he wants this celebration to be the best year ever, to the point where he even says, "Now I know you guys have heard some things about this water, but it's actually very good," and drinks a tall glass of it.
I remember that scene.
Probably not actually the water. Yeah, it's so frustrating. But
out of any bay.
Out of any bay.
That's gross.
I know. I'm like, this
any
is
large body of
kids'
water.
pee or something. This is not good water. I wouldn't want to drink lake water. It's like duck poop. Come on, guys. Not that there's anything wrong with ducks, but so anyone who's drinking this water or spending time in this water is ingesting these parasites. I'm not quite sure if like it's that they're biting them or they're swallowing something and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I kind of got the sense that it's growing within them, and that's mostly how it's entering people's bodies. But all these people during the 4th of July celebration start coming down with these horrible rashes, overloading the hospital and bleeding, falling apart. The doctor has no idea what's going on. He's calling the CDC. And of course, they discovered that upon opening the dead bodies, they are filled with these fun leeches that are eating these people. It's very exciting. This movie likes to rip off Jaws hardcore because the mayor is just the dude from Jaws. He's just like, everything's fine. And like it's on the radio while this is happening, while the hospital is overrun, while people are like bleeding in the streets. He's getting on the radio and local news going, no, everything's fine. It's just some really small like flu thing for people who, really like went too far and like swallowed like 5 gallons of the water. So don't worry about like, it's all very, very Jaws feeling. Chaos is breaking out. Like I said, we're kind of hopping from one live camera to another because this reporter apparently spent like years compiling all the footage she could possibly find. So we get to see the cops responding to calls of families just begging to be killed. We see people who are infected themselves doing video calls to loved ones and family going, "It's fucked up," and no one's helping. The mayor running around telling everyone that's fine. And then, of course, our main reporter who is walking around in the docks going, "I don't know what's happening. Oh, there's a dead body." She is extremely irritating, but that's okay. I'm glad that she has gone on to have a good career. And of course, there's also some really nice tension that they build by having a young couple on a boat, as aforementioned before, young mom, and they are coming to this town to celebrate with her parents and don't have cell reception, so they don't know what's going on. We see the husband jump into the lake or the bay and just swim around and go, "Honey, I'm going to push you in. This is so fun." And you're like, "No." What have you done? You got in the water. So that's like a nice piece of tension that's kind of building. Throughout, you see a lot of dead bodies. There's not as many shots of people becoming dead, but you do have these sort of great body horror moments. And I think that's where this movie really shines. You see a lot of like the skin freaking out and stuff moving around inside of people. And I think that that's very, very effective. There's moments where this movie shines, and there's definitely moments where you can see it's low budget, which I actually could not find, so I do not have it on here. But clearly a low budget piece. Things I like about this, honestly, the creature is fucking gnarly. It is really fucking gnarly. The balance of stories works very well. I think it tells the story extremely nicely. And that town feeling very authentic to the 4th of July. I just love that they went all the way there. They have the crab eating contestants, and of course it pays off with them all suddenly puking nonstop all at the same time. You're like, oh, this is so fucked up. And later you see Miss Crustacean dead in a doorway. Things like that just really work nicely. Things that don't work, this lead actress is incredibly irritating throughout. Every time they go back to her, I just want to take a sledgehammer. And she's like, oh, I can't believe this footage of myself. I look so bad. Those pants were way too tight. I'm like, wow, cool way to focus on that, I guess. I guess you're being very honest about anyway, it's fine. The pregnant couple, the young couple with the baby that come onto the beach. I feel like there's a lot of things that feel like they're leading up to something, and then the result isn't quite right. Like there are a couple of things that just feel like the beat is a little bit off or too quick or just not quite paid off the right way. I felt the same way with what happens with the mayor, which I won't spoil. And then, of course, the last thing that happens in this is she says, and of course, we were locked in by the government and we weren't allowed to leave for 3 days.
Oh, 3 whole days.
I know. I was like, oh, honey, let me tell you about quarantine, babe. Like, it was just, I had a moment of like, 3 days. Wow, that must have been really hard for you. Woof. Man, you couldn't even like go outside. You had to sit in a tent for 3. Oh, geez. Anyway, so trivia about this film. The film came about as a result of a documentary Levinson was asked to produce about problems facing the Chesapeake Bay. Although Levinson chose to abandon the documentary upon learning that Frontline already covered the same issue, Levinson instead decided to use the research to produce a horror film, which he hoped would shed light on the issues facing Chesapeake. As such, when promoting the film, he noted that it's 80% factual information.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So a lot of like the creature, for example, is based on a real creature, which I'll get to more in a second here. According to the scriptwriter, Michael Wallach, I should say partial scriptwriter, the script originally started out as a short story about a young couple who comes across a dead town. After having pieced together what happened from footage scattered across town, they realized that the town had not fully died yet. Barry was happy with the script and sent Wallach the movie JFK 3, Shots That Changed America, and asked if the movie could be made into a documentary. Levinson chose to use found footage format after thinking about the Pompeii disaster and noting that if such a disaster happened today, there would be much more evidence of what happened, with him telling Yahoo, for the very first time in history, you can get a picture of that town if you collect all the footage from everyone's cell phones and their digital cameras and the Skypes. I like that he says, and the Skypes, and the texting and everything else. A byproduct of the format was that much of the footage was able to be shot by the actors themselves as opposed to a more traditional camera crew. According to Levinson, roughly 1/3 of the film was shot this way, which I think was pretty effective. I'm sure it felt incredibly novel at the time.
I guess my brain is still stuck on the idea that if Pompeii happened nowadays, you'd be able to grab that person's phone out of their hand and go,
I know.
Hey, let me get the footage off of here.
Yeah, maybe if it went to the cloud. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I don't think you're going to get somebody's camcorder after that event, but Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have gone straight to Pompeii either.
Yeah, there's
but
plenty of other disasters you could go with.
absolutely. Poor choice, sir. But the parasitic crustacean depicted in the film is, as I said, Simathoa exque, as referred to in the Wikipedia entry briefly shown in the film. Described as known as a tongue-eating louse, the female parasite attaches itself to a host fish tongue, where it then extracts the host blood, causing the tongue to in fact atrophy. To then replace the fish's tongue and feed on the host's blood and or mucus, sucks itself there. In the film, townspeople are similarly found with their tongues absent. At one point near the beginning, the CDC doctor mentions that last year, 2008, the year prior to the film's release, there was a deadly fungal outbreak in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. News reports from February 2008 indicate that there was indeed an outbreak of deadly tropical fungus in 2008 called Cryptococcus gattii, which normally infects koala bears.
Oh, jeez.
Over the preceding 7 years, 176 people had fallen ill from the disease, and 8 people had died in the reported outbreak. So it's interesting because it really does feel like everything's grounded in reality, as crazy as it is. Like, they clearly did a hell of a lot of research. And of course, last but not least, little piece on this, mostly positive reviews from various journals, or at least middling reviews. Guardian, for example, gave it 5 out of 5, saying it's a horror film for grown-ups. Meanwhile, I know, Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, my favorite to recognize in these things, was less positive, awarding the film a 2.5 out of a possible 4, stating, although there are some scary moments here, and a lot of gruesome ones, this isn't a horror film so much as a faux eco-documentary. Way to go, buddy. I mean, he clearly was like not on the horror mockumentary train, so.
Fuck you, Roger.
I
hope you get cancer and die.
Yet again.
I hope I heard that before.
So that was my pick. I will say, I think it was a really, really strong film.
So you liked it?
I did like it. I thought it was a really good example. If you like horror mockumentaries, I think that this is a nice little gem. It's not the highest budget. It definitely, you can see some of the seams, but I think it's really well balanced with this story. And I think it's an interesting one to follow. I was never bored. I was never, aside from the girl talking, irritated. It just felt like, I don't know, I was enjoying myself.
I remember, I mean, this came out after a glut of found footage films, and I thought, oh, this one feels better to me because they're just assembling footage instead of one person holding a camera the entire time. So I kind of liked it for that. But spoiler, the money shot should have been, we see one of these things in somebody's mouth, right?
Agreed.
And it never fucking happens.
It does not. Yep. They talk about it, and like, that's what I'm saying. The payoff here and there is really fucking rough. So hearing, oh my God, this thing is going to happen, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's just a bunch of dead people in the street? Like, who's actually dying? There's a bunch of people screaming inside a building we're not in. Who is dying? Like, you just don't really see this thing pay off in the right way.
Yeah, I remember being kind of excited because it was a Levinson horror film, and then being like, oh, this was good.
Yeah, it was one of those that, everybody was talking about when it came out. And everybody I was reading was saying really good things about it. So I watched and go, okay, this is good.
Right.
But I think if I'd watched it now, I probably would like it a lot more than I did when I watched it then.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I thought overall it was good, which means it probably was.
This one had totally passed me by. And, I feel, I think I have felt burnt out in the past on horror mockumentaries, but this one, I felt like it was a pretty good gem out of all the crap I've sat through. So, I thought like they tried something a little bit more interesting and novel by switching around between all those different footages. That worked really nicely to me.
You should have watched Orca and you would have been really satisfied.
Yeah, but I couldn't because some other jerk chose it. And it wasn't an option for me, was it?
Not sure that jerk was the right name.
What was that?
Try something else. Let's see what sticks.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Well, we're going much, 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 much further back for mine. 1958 and The Snorkel.
is locked from the inside, and a man prepares to kill. No one in this room can survive. No one except you. The killer with a gimmick. The killer with a snorkel.
I don't imagine things, and I'm not imagining things now.
We shall look at facts. Your mother was found in a room with the door locked on the inside.
Then he was inside, hiding.
If you can show me how a man can be in a room invisible, a room full of gas but with air to breathe, I shall arrest him.
The killer has a perfect alibi for the perfect crime.
Can't forget the way she looked at me. It was so abnormal.
But there's a slick chick who knows he's guilty
Do you think I'm mad, Gene?
and will stake her life on it if she lives that long.
Why did you do it?
Candy, you mustn't think I had anything to do with it.
I know you killed him. You're gonna have to kill me, too, because if you don't, I'm gonna kill you.
Hang on, Candy! I'm coming!
No one believes her story except the killer, and he's trying to keep her mouth shut forever.
Ooh,
Never
the
heard-
haunted
never heard of it.
snorkel.
This is another one of those Hammer films that nobody ever heard of.
This is exciting.
I bought a very cool collection of the Ultimate Hammer films, the Ultimate Collection, which is a Blu-rays of 20 movies, most of which you probably haven't heard of unless you're a huge, huge Hammer fan.
Ooh.
So this is only available through that way, and probably, I'm guessing, on YouTube, as many films from the 50s are. So go check it out. There was no critics reviews, but 70 from the crowd on it, 70%. So well liked. Another one of those estimated budgets to be about 100,000 pounds, because it's British.
Mm.
This is directed by Guy Green, who's actually a fairly successful director, went on to do The Devil's Advocate, not that one. A Patch of Blue, SOS Pacific, and a fair amount of films. He lived to 91 years old, dying in 2005. The writers, I've got some more info on how well he did as a filmmaker and the notes and stuff. The writer, Peter Myers, he was listed as his first screenplay before he just basically went on to do lots of TV for Julie Andrews. Jimmy Sangster, who did 75 screenplays. And if you know Hammer, you've heard this name before. He did Horror and The Brides of Dracula, Revenge and Horror of Frankenstein. He also did SWAT, Kolchak, $6 Million Man, and Wonder Woman. He wrote a lot. Anthony Dawson, who wrote, he's listed as, I believe he's the original writer of the short story this is based on. And he had one of 2 writing credits. However, his acting credits consist of over 82 credits, including Dr. No, Dial M for Murder, and From Russia with Love. So he's very well known as an actor, if not, definitely not a writer. Stars, Peter Van Eyck, who's how you say his name, from The Longest Day, The Wages of Fear, The Spy Who Came in from the Cold. Betta St. John, who's a City of the Dead, Tarzan and the Lost Safari, and Corridors of Blood. And then also we've got Mandy Miller from Crash of Silence, Raising a Riot, The Saint, the TV show, The Avengers, also the original, not the current run, and Gregory Aslan, who was in 139 things, including The Concrete Jungle, King of Kings, and Bang Bang, You're Dead. So very strong group of actors. Peter is particularly good in this, and so is Mandy. It's solidly directed. This is a well put together film. If you didn't know it was a Hammer movie, you probably wouldn't recognize it as a Hammer film. First of all, it's in black and white, so it's the early Hammer, so it's not a Gothic film. But the movie opens up with a scene of a man. He's taping up windows and doors shut. Not quite sure what he's doing. He's trapped, but he seals this room up completely tight, and has also got a snorkel with him. Yes, he does go in the ocean later on. But he set up this whole room basically as a very elaborate way to kill his wife. This is all in the opening scene. There's no spoilers. This is the way the movie starts. And he's got his snorkel with 2 tubes set up that he attaches to outside pipes that go into clean air so he can breathe that. It goes through and turns the gas on all the lights are gas and the fireplace is gas, and he turns all that gas on and then just crawls under the floorboards and stays waiting for her to die.
Whoa.
And further, he waits the next morning when she's discovered. He's still under the floorboards. So his plan is to just stay there until she's discovered and he can come back out and say, no, I was in France. So I wasn't even in the area when this happened. However, the daughter of the woman knows immediately, because earlier on, when they were younger, she saw him drown her dad and nobody believed her.
Oh.
So she already knew he was a killer. So she's like, I don't know how you did it, but I know you killed her. So it leads to a nice, solid, she's a great character in that she is completely lacking in any BS. She's very much says exactly what she's thinking about the guy in front of him, which of course, doesn't always go great for her. But hey, nobody's believing her through most of the movie. Of course, decided it was suicide. She's still trying to she spends the movie trying to convince people it's not suicide, putting clues together in a very smart way. The film is quite intelligent in the way it's written. Unfortunately, she has a dog. And the dog discovers that this guy's got this snorkel contraption in his room before anybody knows what that means. And so, yeah, the dog dies.
No.
Because he just will not leave the snorkel thing alone. It does have 1950s pacing. So
sure,
there's some slow points in the movie. And although I think I read the actress was only like 14 making the movie, she doesn't look 14, so it seems like she's oddly old to be saying mummy and daddy and getting placated with bowls of ice cream by I think it's her aunt who's trying to watch out for her through all of this. So it's a little weird, but she's good. Mm. It's got the great, I call it the classic Hitchcock idea, where they go to a beach and she sees these people snorkeling, and she saw her dog with the snorkel. So she puts that together with that, and then he realized that she has figured it out. So after she figures it out and gets, I'd love to go snorkeling. I know you have a snorkel. Will you loan it to me when we get back? He's like, sure. And then she goes swimming. The guy's like, oh no, there are bad undertones, telling her aunt or who's ever watching her, I'll go out and make sure she's okay. And it's a great scene. Where it's kind of like, what is going to happen here? So, and the movie has several of those. It's just smartly written. It is very much, you're going, I can see how this could lead to Hammer doing more stuff, because it may not necessarily been a big box office success, but it was extremely well done. And I love the ending. The ending goes almost unbelievably dark, but then lightens it just a little bit. Man, for a moment going, is this really how you guys are going to end it? Holy shit. But it is a very satisfying ending. It's just a great little black and white movie. I've done this a few times going back, watching Hammer films nobody ever talks about and I've never heard of. And they've always been good. So I hope I continue to find ones to do that. Notes and trivia. It was originally released in the US. It's a 91-minute movie, but it was released at 74 minutes because they wanted to put it on a double bill. Mm. So there's no content necessarily that was disagreeable that was cut out, but I'm glad this is the full restored version, because that's a lot. That's a lot of time out of a movie. And although the pacing is slow, there is not a lot of wasted moments. There's not a lot of times where you're going, I don't see what this scene, most of the scenes are relevant to what's going on and work, which is great considering from the beginning, your hero already knows what's happening. So it's just about her convincing everybody else. Guy Green started out as a cinematographer, and he is the first British DP to receive an Academy Award for black and white photography on Great Expectations. So, yeah, it looks pretty damn good, too. Very well shot. He founded the British Society of Cinematographers with Freddie Young and Jack Cardiff, so he was very heavily involved in British filmmaking. This is probably his only semi-horror-based movie. It's more of a mystery. He worked in Triple Deception and Desert Patrol, became associated with Richard Attenborough and Michael Green, went on to make The Angry Silence, that they made in 140-degree heat of the Libyan desert. However, it became a landmark for all people that were involved in it, brought Green international attention, and was Britain's first entry at the Berlin Film Festival, where it won the International Critics Award. So he's a solid director, knows what he's doing. Patch of Blue was written by him and was nominated for a Writers Guild Award and received 5 Academy Award nominations, including Best Actress. Shelley Winters received an Academy Award for that film. Mandy Miller, the younger girl, was kind of not treated well before she got into film, so she just was made to feel there's nothing special about her and told that she's just a girl that's in movies, which led to her being kind of an instinctive actress. So she's very natural in her performances. She's very, she's just there. There's no techniques or anything going on, and it all works really well because she's wonderfully sincere and very much FU towards the guys in a lot of great ways. Says her children make fun of her watching the movies. And let's see, one other little weird fact. Peter Van Eyck was a music arranger for Irving Berlin before he worked in Hollywood as an actor. He's also Berlin's stage manager, where he was an assistant for Oscar Wilde at the Mercury Theater. So just a fun group of people that had all kinds of experience and did all kinds of interesting, weird shit.
Orson Welles?
Orson, what did I say?
Oscar?
Orson, yes. Oscar
his
Welles.
little known brother?
Yes, Orson Welles. He went on, to make some commercials in the 70s.
Sure. And so you watch this from your collection.
Yes.
This is not streaming somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I think it's on YouTube. I believe
it is.
on
Okay.
YouTube.
This is super interesting to me. I've never heard of this, and it sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does sound a lot like Hitchcock films. Like, do you feel like it's closer to a Hitchcock style or like the Hammer style?
Yeah, probably closer to early Hitchcock.
Yeah.
When he was doing British films. It's
Yeah.
definitely British.
Yes. It's so funny because I feel like there was a moment in time where there was a lot of films about men elaborately murdering their wives. Like, I think it's in Rebecca, where it's like this big setup and then eventually they're found out. And it's like, wow, you really went to town. I miss those days, where men really tried to cover their tracks. And this sounds like an amazing piece.
Oh, yeah.
That
There's
genre.
one point when he's trying to do something where he gets in the water and snorkels for like 2 or 3 miles or something like that, so he can pop up in France again.
Oh my God!
For his deception.
He just goes across the canal.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Big steamer ship. I'm going over here.
I think he's just not in France, just out of town.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Does he use the snorkel when he's pumping the gas into the room also? Okay.
Well, once it's all underneath that trap door. So
Right.
he's got the snorkel on to start with and then gets in there and plugs the tubes into it.
Okay, so he's
lays
got like
down there
an
and
air
sweats.
tank or something, or
No, it's basically like straws. If you like snorkeling, but using there's 2 pipes that go out in the air. It's a weird looking snorkel.
Huh.
The design is not great because I'm looking at it and he puts it on and it'd be fine for what he's doing under the floorboards, but this top of the snorkel's like almost sit on top of his head.
Oh, geez.
Like so. But then when they show him underwater, you just see the tops of the snorkel. Well, okay, a little off on your design here, but
probably
it looks cool.
Made specifically for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I think that snorkeling was kind of a thing in the 50s, and now it's such a weird word that if you suggested you were going to title your film that the studio would probably
Never in a
have
million
some
years.
words.
Yeah. It's
Nope.
just, yeah. As soon as you said it, I was like, what? Snorkel. Huh. Cool.
All right. Well, Good choices, guys. I'm glad that I came up with this. I agree with me. Mine is the best.
Yours sounds pretty good,
See,
but
I've seen all three of those, but
Yeah,
sure.
I want to hold out for Eric's because I want to see his before I make a decision.
Oh, you want to see a good movie?
I didn't say that. I want to see a movie I enjoy.
Well, we made it through the podcast, you guys. Sweating balls, but and also this is countdown to the last couple of episodes we record here because, as you can see, the place is full of boxes, and I will shortly be moving into the new studio space.
I have heard word from a young man named Bob that he will be sending us something. It's something to toast either our last episode or our first episode, depending on where we are.
That's lovely. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And thanks to everyone who is participating in the value for value model, who's liking and sharing posts. All of that stuff means so much to us. I'm talking to Danny Williford. There's some shirt ideas going on. I'm talking to Eric Margaret. There's some shirt ideas going on over there. There's going to be some kind of store where these coins are going to be available, and everything's coming up roses for Strange Eons Radio.
That's right.
So that means that Eric, is it your choice next?
Yeah. Any ideas of what direction you want to go?
I do. Because
Snorkeling
it's so
films.
Frigging, so goddamn hot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's watch some movies that have snow or winter or just chilly things going on.
The haunted air conditioner.
Oh, I like this idea. I mean, I was talking about that Batman Long Halloween, and I'm watching this cartoon with all this snow falling, and I'm like, fucking goddamn it, I would kill for that right now.
Yeah. Kind of like that one I watched a few weeks or a month back, Nobody, when they was shot in Canada, where it was like -40 or something.
Oh my God.
I'll go for that.
It was, now everybody's going to be like, it's not that hot. It's 92 degrees today, 50% humidity.
Yeah. And
wow.
And if you've never lived in Seattle, this is all kind of new. You know, we used to get like 90 degrees a couple times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so nothing is frigging air conditioned.
Yes.
No house is built to have airflow in it because we never used to need it. So stuff gets hot, man.
Yeah, I hate that people complain about Seattleites either having trouble driving in the snow or complaining about the heat, because it's like, yo, guys, we only have those fans that turn back and forth and like blast that hot air back on us.
Yeah.
That is all we have. We do not have air conditioning outside of malls, which are pretty much, not super open, and movie theaters. That's it. And then, snow driving. It's like we have hills and no one has tires or infrastructure.
Gets all the credit, but man, Seattle got those damn hills too.
Oh my God, they're bad. They're real bad, guys. So give us a little bit of credit here. Just know that it's rough and we're doing the best we can with what we got. Drinking a lot of water.
Wow, I didn't realize this was going to be you guys whining about how tough life is. But anyway, with that note then.
we have things to say too, Kelly.
yeah.
It's not just you all the time, okay?
Right.
You have to share the show a little bit.
Eric, edit all of that out. And we will see you guys next week. We're talking winter and snow and stuff like that. Our show is recorded somewhere high above Naval Station Everett at the nexus of all realities and is engineered and produced by Eric Margaret. Our theme music is Strange Eons Part 1 by the band Nightshade and is used with permission. Find Strange Eons Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and wherever fine podcasts are found.
There are some weird looking tits out there, dude. I cannot begin to tell you. Anyway.
That's the bumper right there. At the end of the show.
No.